Close with this, telling you, the God that I serve is the God that when you are in pain, He is your pain medicine. The God that I serve, He is the God that when you're crying, He is there wiping your tears. The God that I serve is the God that when you are in fear, He's there to calm you down. The God that I serve is the God that in your darkest moments, the moments where you may be a loner, or you could be a single mother or a single father, which is weird to see nowadays, but you may be that person. And in your darkest moments, there's young people, there's extra young people here, there's adults, and everybody has a dark moment. Everybody has that moment where you say, I can't see the light. I'm calling out to you. I am crying out to you, and I can't see the light. What do you want from me? I'm yelling, I'm screaming at you, and you still don't come down to help me. See, I've known people that I tell them, listen, for your life, there's nothing else but prison or death. And then I came to people that said, you know what, before I used to tell you there was prison, now there's only death for you. Your only salvation, your only way is God. People that I know, they have told me, yes, but you know what, I do it, I cry, and I cry out to God, and I don't get an answer. Whoever that God is that you serve doesn't ever answer me. Well, you know what, I've seen those same people tell me, you know what, Leo, the moment where I couldn't even see my hand in front of my face, the moment where I couldn't see my feet, where I couldn't hear a voice because it was too dark, that's when God showed His light the brightest in the darkest moment. Because God comes in time, because He is enough. See, I don't know if you know, but He is enough. And He is all you need. And I don't know what purpose you came with tonight, but I came to tell you that He's enough. Because He was enough for me, and He's more than enough. He's my all. He's more than my wife. He's more than my kids. He's more than my own parents. He is my all. Because in the darkest moments, He shines His light. And when He shines His light, you can see your hand. You can see your feet. You can start moving. Because when His light comes in, there's a presence. Because when His light comes in, there's a breath of life. See, at my church, me and my wife have had a burden of these twins that the dad left them alone in the tub, and one of them drowned. That very next day, they turned 1. My son that Thursday turned 1. That happened on a Monday. On that Tuesday, I went to prayer service, and the pastor spoke about it. And at work, people were telling me how this kid was brain dead. They revived him, but he was brain dead. If he were to ever live, he would be a vegetable, not able to function for himself. A kid that just turned 1 on life support. Twin brother good, but a kid that is on life support, still is. But that Tuesday, as I was praying, and I heard my pastor praying upon it, I could hear my pastor just fighting for something. The man that God has put to pastor me, as he's praying, I hear him fighting for something and fighting, and he's telling whatever he's fighting, and I could hear it. As everybody in the church is praying, I could hear him battling, and I hear him saying, you know what? Whether there's no life in his brain, Father, you do the miracle. And I was so angry at the parents that when I heard my pastor battling, I said, Lord, you know what? Move away. Take away the parents away from me and allow me to think about that child. The minute I said that, the God that I serve put in me an image of my son breathing. My wife wasn't at church that night, neither were my kids, but I could see my son sleeping, breathing. And the more that the image was implanted in my head, I could see my son breathing stronger, and my son breathing stronger, and my son breathing stronger. At that moment, I yielded to God and I said, Father, breathe life into that kid. Breathe your life into that kid. And I felt a divine presence. I got home that night, I received a text message from my pastor. For no reason, there was people at church, but he decided to send me a text saying, and it wasn't one of those group text messages that people keep texting and you could, no, it was, he texted me. And I said, I wonder what's going on. And I looked at the text and he says, I just want to let you know that child grabbed his grandma's finger, squeezed it, and he moved. And he moved. See, that's the God that I serve. See, I don't know what you're going through in your life. I don't know what problem is so big in your life. That child is still living off machines, but he's living. See, people say that he'll be a vegetable, but he's living. See, people say there's no hope to him, but he's living. Because that is the God that we serve. Because although his parents don't believe in God, there's a grandmother and there's people that pray. Just like there's people that pray for you whether you know it or not. Just like late at night, your pastor wakes up at 3 in the morning because he can't go to sleep and he's on his knee praying for you. Because he knows something's going on with one of his sheep. We say we believe in God. We say we have faith in God. We say that we trust in God. But in the back of our minds, there's always that doubt. How can the sovereign God work in your life if there's always that doubt in the back of your mind? See, if you're going to believe in God, believe in God. And if you're going to believe in God, serve Him. Because you know what? A lot of us want to be leaders. A lot of us want to be something in church because that's important to us. Well, let me tell you something. Leadership begins at the feet of Jesus. And when you got to be at the feet of Jesus, that means you got to bow down. And when you're bowing down, that means that you're a servant. A servant willing to wash his master's feet. A servant willing to say, Father, here I am. Use me as you please. That is the God I serve. That is the God your pastors serve. That is the God that your elders at this church serve. That is the God that has put this church in the middle of this place to preach the gospel. And to go out to Haiti, to go out to the Dominican Republic, like Johnny was saying before, and to take the message of God out there. The apostles said in Acts, Father, allow us to speak with boldness. Allow us to speak with boldness so that when we put our hands out, not us, but your miracles may happen. What are you asking God tonight for? See, the disciples were also men. And if you think about it, you can relate to them a little bit more. But you know what? All they asked for from God was, God, allow us to speak with boldness. To serve you, but to speak to people that don't care about you, that although you died on the cross for them, don't want to listen to you, but allow us to speak to them with boldness. Tonight, you might have been battling with that. You might be in college, you might be in high school, you might be in middle school. My kids are here and I tell my wife all the time, you know what? Like Charles Spurgeon used to say, what is better? For God to use a child or for God to begin a work in an adult? You know what? God can use a child since he's 5 years old and have so much use for him. But he can also use you and have so much use for you. But it takes for you to become a servant of God. To believe in him without a doubt and say, I am willing to serve you, no matter what it costs, no matter at what cost. Because I count it joy, like Paul says, I count it joy. He counted it joy to suffer for Christ. And that's what it takes to serve God, knowing that if you take God to your family, and your family is a religious person, or your family member is a Muslim, or your family, to serve God means to take it to that family, to take it to those people. They probably are going to want to kill you, or are probably going to want to put you away from their family, to cut you off from the family. That is to serve God. Tonight I just want to finish with this, so if you could please bow your head and meditate on this. To serve God. Do I really serve God? Do I come to church so that people may see me? Do I come to church so that I could just have respect, because nowadays it has become a cool thing to be a Christian, to call yourself a Christian? Or do I love God so much that all I want in my life is to serve Him? The same thing that Pastor Calvin feels and my Pastor Christy, I want to feel too, God. How do I feel that? How do they worship you in the midst of all their problems in their life? Because they serve. I've been able to get through things because I've decided to pick up my cross and serve God.